This one's going to be really exciting because today I'm going to be going through all of the progress 1 year to max has made, how I managed to acquire a 1.4 billion GP bank worth, and is it possible to get the last 240 million experience I need in order to max the account. Let's get into it. Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. My name is Eyeic. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today, you heard that right, we are going to be going through the entire progress of the account. We're going to be doing a bank video, as well as talking about how I'm feeling about the account, what my plans are for the future, and do I think I will be able to complete this challenge in time. So the date today is... and we have been playing this account for 6 months now. I really thought I would be burnt out of this account at some point. Like, to max an account in a given time span, when that's kind of overhanging the whole time, you're kind of pressured in order to do skills that maybe you don't like, or methods that you don't like, and maybe don't enjoy as much.
That's quite big.
But I have been loving this account, and everything I've done on it have been incredibly fun because I make these videos and because I get to put this content out for you guys. Being able to drive a story forward saying, you know, this is what's going to happen in this episode and this is how we're going to get there. So I think both YouTube and streaming my progress has really upped my level and love for this game. Literally not a complaint in the world. Maybe you'll hear something when I do 99 Dungeoneering, but that is a story for another day. But enough of my ramblings, let's go straight into our skills, where we're at on the account, and what I'd like to do going forward with each skill in order to kind of figure out what the plan is for the account. Alright, starting off with the skills that we have completed, obviously magic is at the top, as most combats are when you are starting off an account. I use magic for literally everything. We did our krill grind, all the questing we've done, as well as our Glacore. This, along with defense, have just been passively training and will most likely turn into 2 of my first 120s, though I want to try and get some other ones first. Our construction that we rushed so hard is now 102. I can't believe the amount of experience that Crocious gives for construction. If I was doing another iron, I would maybe get like 60 construction and then camp Crocious for 99 construction, because A, it's free, and B, the XP is absolutely insane. So if you don't like training construction, please, by all means, just do Crocious. Hunter was pretty self-explanatory. I really wish I had access to Crocious trash runs when I had done my initial 1 to 75, but lucky for us, we had the Big Tin Champa daily, which we ran twice a day until 75. But afterwards on 75, we did do Big Game Hunter, and then of course we did Crocious. Now, one thing I am looking forward to in the post-max grinds is going to be going back and doing more Big Game Hunter, because it's genuinely a skilling activity that I enjoy doing. Constitution is essentially a 0-time skill. We don't actually have to put any effort into training it, as we will also be training our other skills. The cape doesn't give us any particular bonuses that we're looking forward to, so it will just be another 99 on our belt very soon. And of course we have our 95 div, so the plan for that is I am going to be harvesting charges for invention training, and then once I have enough memory strands, we are going to do engrams, which is a significant source of XP. It's a really nice little strategy that a lot of people use in order to finish off divination from like 93 onwards, so I'm excited to use that to end out the skill as an alternate form of training divination. Wood cutting, honestly, I hated this skill before the account, but because I did so many evil trees for the construction grind early on, it kind of took the monotony out of it. And now that I'm in the high 90s, I've been doing a lot of it at Crocious, which has been a quite enjoyable experience, and doing it on the Crocious skilling nodes outside of the boss room to farm out tier 3 troves, as well as get some nice AFK experience. Fletching and crafting are 2 of my least favorite skills. Fletching has been put on pause for now. I'm just restocking on broad arrowheads right now. It's about another 2 months worth of buying, but that is a grind that I am not looking forward to. Another source of good fletching experience might be if we do an Ascensions grind. We'll have lots of fletching experience there, as well as making criminal bolts daily and our splintering arrow tips from our Santa's fire torch. For both mining and smithing, I have not been touching these at all. This is something that I've been putting off for 2 reasons. One, I would really like to get the spore hammer from Crocious. I have been grinding significantly hard for this one drop. I literally said I will quit Crocious once I get the spore hammer. It has not happened yet, but I do also want to do the Varrock Elite, which has some other requirements that I'm working towards. I am planning on doing Bay Knight into Elder Rune, and then obviously smithing follows mining, so the training method will be identical. Invention has been kind of puttering along since we unlocked it. We did the black salamanders and then have been doing fishing rod automatics since then. I'm hoping to get a significant boost from doing the fire grind and get up into the 90s, unlock ancient invention, and then we'll be able to also boost up to 120 and unlock everything. So I feel like the ball has just started rolling for invention after this fires grind, and it's just going to unlock a whole bunch of opportunities towards our skilling, towards our combat, and I am really excited for that. I would like to stress that with invention, I don't siphon any of my tools. So my mattock, my hatchet, I'm going to try and get them all to level 20 in order to boost their helpful perks and make them more effective. I do not think it's worth siphoning the XP, and you'll be able to get a majority of your XP through combat instead. Fishing has been a skill that is one of the relatively slow skills, so I'm actually waiting to unlock ancient invention to continue training fishing. Been doing a lot of swarm after Metaphos at 85 and then swarm up to 90. But the plan is we are actually going to change over to blue blubbers, because not only are they a decent amount of experience, about 100k per hour, and I also might have to go back to Metaphos at some point to catch up on quickie experience that I've missed out due to doing swarm. Herblore, we've been treating as a daily, which has been really nice, as well as having a ton of herbs. I cannot stress how many herbs we have in the bank right now, but we have tons of Herblore supplies. I just need to burn through it. It is going to be a skill that we have a few quests left, like Runescape3's endgame, that we can just put 1.2 million experience into that, or into another skill if we manage to finish off Herblore soon. Crafting, I do have a lot of crafting experience banked. I think I have about 94 banked currently. I want to avoid crystal harp at all chances. I'm going to do crystal harps for the stuff that I need, but at the same time, I do not want to camp crystal harps for 120 hours in order to get 99 crafting. Hopefully, I'll be able to do some bossing and stuff like that in order to get the components for gems, for battle staffs, that kind of thing. And then hopefully I will be able to translate that, and Dragonhide is another big one. So that's probably going to be one of the last ones that we get into 99. I will probably try and push it to 93 so we can boost for the 99 crafting. So it's kind of being put on the back burner right now. Archaeology, this is something that I keep putting off. I want to get my Grace of Elves before I do it in order to AFK with porters. With the Grace of the Elves, you can AFK for like 500 materials, which is absolutely insane. So that's going to be done relatively soon. I want to get that done and then move into Slayer. So you might notice here, we're significantly lacking in all combats except magic. I only have 83 attack. I have less than 80 strength, and our ranged is also sitting in the 80s. Magic is my favorite style, but it just feels like I have significantly stronger magic gear because I grinded out Krill compared to my melees as well as ranged. For ranged, I do have the Royal Crossbow, but our melees are pretty stuck in the mud right now. But this is why the virus grind is going to be so important to us, because it's going to be training so many skills, and this is going to give us a significant bump across all of this. I expect to get at least 199 in melees. We're going to get 99 prayer, as well as hopefully high 90s in both fire making, farming, and invention. Slayer is one thing that I want to do post archaeology, because I want the persistent rage relic as well as having some other relics in order to make it a little bit more effective. And I want to do some PVM post archaeology in order to upgrade my gear. So it does naturally make sense to make it an endgame skill, and will most likely be one of the last few that I am maxing. Farming is basically a 0-time skill at this point between player-owned farms as well as buyers. So I have literally no concern about getting it to 99. It will get to 99. It's just been a little bit slow for me. I do check it about once or twice a day, but I do expect it to pick up once we do the fire grind, because we'll unlock the 2 dragons that we have in our bank, which is going to give us a significant boost to our XP. So I'm very excited for that. Thieving training, 80 to 99 will probably take me 24 hours. I'm planning on doing safe cracking the whole way. I have no need for porter camping right now. I have tons of dragon stones. I have tons of energy, and I can just boost in order to make tier 6 porters. So I'm not too worried about that. Probably will just bang that out on a weekend, on a stream or something like that. It'll be super simple. Cooking, I have like 95 cooking banked right now. It's pretty self-explanatory. I have lots of fish. I need to cook them. Don't want to do it yet. It will get done. Agility, sitting at a humble 79, which has been wonderful because I am now able to stamina boost for Anachronia, which means I can do Roar as a daily on the account now. It's about 200,000 XP. each time I do it because it's about 200k an hour. I think breaking it up like this does two things for me. One, it really takes the monotonous grind out of it because it's just running around for an hour and I can do that. And two, it will give us a boosted experience rate, which I will definitely not complain about. Fire making, I'm expecting to get a significant portion of this from fires and then finishing off through dailies. It will probably be, again, one of the last skills I finish off. But if I reach a point where it's taking up daily slots where I could have dungeoneering instead, I will just finish it off in order to take that off the daily list. Summoning is going to take a while. It's going to be a lot of prep, so thank God for our Glacore because we have a lot of blue charms from AFKing that, but it's going to take a lot of smithing rune bars. So that's a little unfortunate, but other than the smithing part, it's going significantly faster than it has before because before I was doing granite crabs, which is a lot slower. So being able to do the more expensive method with all the money and the blue charms that we have has been a quite unique experience compared to what I've been used to. Dungeoneering is going to be my last skill. I don't want to talk about it. It's going to be terrible. Let's just move on to the next one. And finally, we have rune crafting. It seems really, really low right now, and I have been doing my tiers of Gothics in order to level it up, but the significant portion here is once we hit 77, I'm going to do blood runes the full way through. It's going to be long. I think it's going to be like a 150-hour grind of running bloods, but I personally just enjoy running runes. I think it's a good method, and I am going to get a rune pouch out of it, so that's exciting. Probably going to be one of the later skills that I have to train because I need to do a lot of Slayer in order to get all of the pure essence I need for that grind. But that is my plan for all of the skills thus far. That was a lot of information that I just threw at you guys. Let's do the bank video now, and then we'll come back to this and we'll talk about how I'm feeling about the account, whether the challenge is actually possible or not with the 240 mil experience remaining. Now, I just want to put out this preface that I have kind of organized my bank. There is still a lot to improve on, so please go ahead, rip on me in the comments. So as you can see, I am the type of person that likes to organize all of my skilling outfits in my bank. I like to keep a set of all of them from Diangos because I find it pretty tedious destroying and reclaiming them constantly. So I dedicate about 60 spaces for these outfits as I move into late game for convenience sake. Otherwise, I just have a few skilling items here and there, notably our Scripture Bic and our Double Surge Codex pages as we work towards the 500. Archaeology, this one's pretty self-explanatory. It's just all my unfinished relics, as well as tetracompasses, porters, and dirt. I'm planning on keeping all of my dirt for archaeology potions for the future as a nice little source of herblore experience, as well as boosting in the higher levels. There's nothing else quite notable here, though the Darok relic still eludes me to this day. We are approaching about 150 KC at Barrows, which I believe the drop rate is about 100, so we're getting a little bit unlucky at that, but hopefully we will get that drop soon for our PVM grinds. Moving on to our combat tab, we have a quite menial gearing tab. Of course, we have all our magic gear is starting to look better and better. Full subjugations, we have our killing cape, and we are using Vanquish until we upgrade to the Sun Spear very, very soon. Next best is probably going to be our range setup, rocking the full spine, very, very sexy, with a royal crossbow we spent so long trying to get. Spined and all of the Fremenic armors are my favorite go-to for pre-God Wars dungeon power armor because things like Armadillo can be really tough to do without Soul Split, so I will be running it until I can get full Armadillo. One nice thing about range setup is that we have access to Criminal Bolts, so in 6 levels we will start using Ruby Criminal Bolts, which will increase our DPS significantly when using this setup. For melee, we're rocking a nice tanky set of Bay Knight. I don't plan on spending the 40 hours to get Masterwork as it doesn't fit into the plan for the year, but again, I am quite happy throwing on some Rock Shell for some Slayer tasks. Finally, the treasure of this tab and pretty much of the account is our Reaver's Ring. I can't believe I spent all that time AFKing at DKs, killing Rex over and over again and only killing it. But honestly, it has been such a staple in my PVM setup, and it can only get better and better as we increase our accuracy. Now on to the most organized and probably the juiciest tab, which is the loot tab. Most people do have this tab in their bank, and I typically use it as either I want to collect a large collection of this item or this is a PVM drop. Barrows has already been pretty cursed with 2 items and 2 dupes, so we're probably going to stay away from that for a long time, but I desperately want that amulet, so we will probably have to go back for a Reaper or 2. We have a ton of Dragon Hatchets from our previous DK's grind, as well as Warrior Rings. But hopefully, once we start our Slayer tasks, we will start doing Boss Slayer and be able to tri-brid all of them together for the rest of the log. Our QBD grind gave us a Dragon Visage, which will be good for Dragonfire components. Rex Matriarchs, we are now at 2 out of the 4 spear pieces, so we're going to start working towards that, which will be a nice unlock for Slayer, as well as have 2 Hearts of the Berserker. I'm going to continue camping Orichalca until the Warrior Heart and then move on to the other 2 when I get dinosaurs for a Slayer task. The God Wars dungeon hasn't been incredibly fruitful yet, and that is because outside of Crow we have not done it very much. Using Slayer tasks in the late game as an excuse to go there and or unlocking the Totem Intimidation will most likely be the reason why I go back and upgrade my current gear, but it's not something I see myself doing in the immediate future. Our Glacor has given us a few Nihilists, so we're slowly working towards our weapons right now, doing mostly 0 mech kills as well as some 5 mech solos. We also managed to sneak a Lang artifact, but I doubt we will be getting any tier 90 gloves anytime soon. Of course, we have many hours of Crocious to show for, and only 2 items. So we have Crypt Bloom Bottoms and Foul Torches at 450 KC. We are sitting at 2 Foul Torches as well as 1 set of Crypt Bloom legs and the Scripture. The Core Hammer is the only thing I want, and that is for the mining and smithing grind, but she just wants me to have bonds instead, so I will be taking that and dropping it over to my main. I think I sold the 1 Foul Torch for 300 mil, so hopefully that money will start going towards both funding bonds for the account for next year, as well as expanding bank slots once they go on sale. Some collection items that I have here, I am currently working towards 100,000 crystal keys and 1k crystal Triskelions. This is not really a goal that I'm actively working towards, but I don't plan on using any until I reach these previous stated milestones, so they're going to be slowly building up in the bank here. And otherwise, most of these drops is just stuff that I've yet to organize. So we have the offhand Dragor Mace that we got spooned, we have some Ceramic Scales, and of course our Trove Loot. As we continue to do more PVM, I hope to expand this tab and maybe fill in a few more rows with that juicy loot. This Herblore tab I totally forgot to delete because I have been moving all of my skilling stuff into the crafting tab, which I will show you in just a sec. But this tab needs to be dissolved. The Herblore bag is probably the most notable item in here. I have been using it for all of my farm runs, and it makes it super easy because you don't have to bank the herbs at the Leprechaun, which has made farming wonderful. The cooking tab is pretty much just a combination of fishing and cooking. There's no reason why I haven't done all the cooking yet. It's just another processing skill I will get around to when I do it. The skilling tab, which is most likely the most organized tab that I have yet, is all of my skilling supplies for a variety of skills. Now, this is the only tab that I've actually put any time into, and it's just an assortment of processing skills that I have collections in that help me visualize when supplies are low. In the top left, we have runes, followed by a crafting section boasting a casual 59 onyxes at the moment. Summoning blends in a bit with the spirit gems as we continue to go to the right, but we have a lot of charms from AFKing our Glacor and now just need to process the secondaries. Keeping on moving right, we are going to go to our construction sections, which will probably never be touched outside making stash units or animal pens. And of course, the actual main reason why I have this tab, which is the urns. I use them consistently during dailies, and I was constantly running out, so this is my way of visualizing when I need to make new urns for the upcoming dailies. Right below this, we have our fletching supplies. We just processed a large amount of broad arrows, which we are slowly going to be building back up again and have started working on our criminal bolt collection as well. Below this, we have our herblore section, regular herblore on the left and juju on the right. Just like the urns, this is to help us track when we need things, and it goes grimy, cleaned, unfinished, secondary, and then 1 dose of the potion. This helps preserve on bank space as I'm able to decant everything down to 1 dose for better storage and then re-decant it when I want to use them to mix new potions. Of course, I do keep a lot of potions that I use consistently in combat or in skilling, like Super Restores or Sarah Brews, in 4 doses, because I actually use those on a consistent basis, whereas I might not be using a super range potion every single day. Outside of that, our jujus are looking pretty good right now. We just need to grab some more Harmony Moss from Prif in the coming weeks in order to make perfect jujus. Below this is quite a bit of a mess, but there are some notable items, including our Water Fiend pouches for the archaeology grind, as well as our bone collection, which will probably not get used now that we are only weeks away from Fires. Moving on, we have the remnants of my summoning grind. I plan on disassembling the Minotaur pouches for powerful components, using the Dreadfowls for Jack of Trades daily, as well as our Beast of Burden pets. The clue loot, funny enough, we actually haven't opened any clues yet. These are all from the quest caravan or through Oyster, which is crazy. This tab will probably get destroyed in the coming months due to getting a Grace of the Elves / Luck of the Dwarves ASAP once our invention level is high enough, but for now it shall sit peacefully in its current state. This is a very high quality tab of mining remnants. I'm going to move this into the skilling tab. Farming, we have everything that is farming but not herb runs. So we have some saplings, player-owned farm animals, including our dragons from the QBD grind, as well as dinosaurs from Big Game Hunter. We also have a bunch of high-level seeds in preparation for late game herb lore, but our farming level is not high enough to use those yet. This is a tab that I highly advocate for, that I feel like a lot of people have in their junk tab, but it is old questing items that you either still need or items that are useful but don't really have a place. A lot of these times you can get rid of questing items and they are an absolute pain to get back, so I like to keep them in my bank until I 100% know that I don't need them anymore. Once I get Questscape, this tab will probably get integrated into the skilling tab, as most of them pertain to some sort of method of skilling / achievement. But while I am in the process of training my account, this is something nice that I like to have. And the moment I know you have all been waiting for, my jewelry tab. I think the craziest part is that somehow this is all worth 1.4 billion GP. Not that I think about wealth being an Ironman, but it's absolutely crazy and almost gives a sense of fulfillment that I've been able to come so far in the past 6 months. And genuinely, when I look at this, I do not see 1.4 billion. I could say maybe I'm worth a few hundred million. Well, it sucks that I can't show you how much each item is worth. If I had to answer the question of what is the most valuable item in my bank right now, I would probably have to say it's my stack of 28k soul ruins from Crocius, sitting at a value of around 112 million GP. It's crazy that one stack of items can be worth about 8% of my bank value in total. So overall, I think we're in a good place with the account. I think being close to 40% done, with most skills picking up experience rates later in levels, is a promising sign. There are also a lot of skills like combats and invention that are very fast to train and still have a ton of experience left on the account, which will eventually boost it up, and we will get into a lot healthier place for about 7 months. I only anticipate it taking a month to get there, because once we do the fires grind, we will pretty much be in the place that I want to be in. In terms of the future, I have a pretty good idea of where the account needs to go in order to finish off the challenge in a timely manner, with only a few hurdles left to get over, such as figuring out how I want to do rune crafting and dungeoneering. As always, as I continue through this challenge, your love and support is tremendously appreciated, and I cannot thank you enough for everything so far. So until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful week.